Hey, I'm Siobhan, community cultivator and founder of Be Free Project. The Be Free Project podcast was created for community, sisterhood, and personal growth. Each week, you'll be inspired and motivated to do the work to show up for yourself so you too can feel fulfilled and be free. Now grab a pen and a notebook and let's get into the show. The best decision that you can make today is joining the Be Free Inner Circle at BeFreeInnerCircle.com, a community for like-minded women to find their forever friends and get accountability to do their personal growth work. Your membership includes a private, exclusive community of women who are not only showing up for themselves, but for one another. Weekly live events with me and or guest speakers, daily accountability so this way you can finally get stuff done, mentorship from yours truly, and so much more. Now, there's no long-term commitment and you can cancel at any time. However, I can guarantee the moment you join, you're going to feel a warm embrace and you're going to want to stick around. Every single member of the Be Free Inner Circle will walk away with clarity, fulfillment, and confidence because guess what? When you're around me, you're going to win. So come and grow inside the Be Free Inner Circle at BeFreeInnerCircle.com. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Be Free Project podcast. You already know that I am so happy that you are here for another week. Okay, what I'm loving this week is Black Girl Sunscreen. I believe I learned about this on Instagram and then I went to my local Target and picked up a bottle and y'all, I love it. And what I really enjoy about it is that, you know how when you use sunscreen, it leaves like this white film on you? Well, this doesn't. It is absolutely amazing and it moisturizes your skin really well and it's easy to put on. And I love how it's infused with jojoba and avocado and it just feels good. And it says water resistant up to 80 minutes. So highly recommend the Black Girl Sunscreen. I will link to it in the show notes. Okay, y'all, on to today's topic, which I am very excited about. I have been wanting to have this conversation for a long time because growth is my number one value. And I'm always looking for areas of my life that I can improve on. And so I've been wanting to do a podcast episode on this topic. I'm not sure what took me so long, but here we are. So today's topic is Personal Growth 101. And I do want to say that throughout this episode, I'm going to be using personal growth and personal development interchangeably. So I'm saying the same thing, whether I say personal development or personal growth. Okay, so I first want to start off by giving you my definition, which is very simple. Personal growth is the process of improving yourself. But then as I was doing a Google search, I'm like, I want something a little bit more in depth. So this is the definition that I found that I like the most that came from the UK College of Personal Development. And it says, personal development is the conscious pursuit of personal growth by expanding self-awareness and knowledge and improving personal skills. And what stood out to me the most is in the definition where it says self-awareness. Now, if you've downloaded the 6-step roadmap to being free, which is my process that I use over and over again to show up for myself, then you know the number one step is awareness. And so if you haven't downloaded it, please do that. It will be amazing and it will support you on your journey to being free. But my thought process is in order for you to be able to do the work, you have to be aware of what's going on inside. Like there has to be a level of awareness that you have that you know it's time to make some improvement. And you'll be surprised at how many people are walking around not aware. So when I saw that word, I'm like, absolutely, let's get it. Okay. And so personal growth, personal development, your journey is a lifelong process, meaning you're always going to be working on some area of your life to get better, to grow, to find fulfillment. So my friend and I were having a conversation a little bit ago, and we were talking about how, we're always working on ourselves to get better. And she likened it to a ball of yarn where, you know how you have a big ball of yarn and you have the string on the other end. And the more that you unravel that string, more string comes out of the ball of yarn. And that's what I think too. It's like we're always going to be working on some area of our lives. And so once you start working on one area, then more will unravel as you go. And for me, I feel like one of the first things I started working on was my mother wounds. And as I worked on my mother wounds, then there was so much other stuff that came up as a result of that particular work of healing that opened up the door for me to work on many other things. And you can start your personal journey at any age, at any stage of your life. And as often as you need it, you get to start over. Meaning, as long as you have breath in your body, you can grow. So don't say because I'm 30, 40, 50, 60, it's too late for me. Absolutely not. You are still alive. That means there is always some room for you to grow in any area of your life. And if you are like me and you grew up the way that I did, then personal development, personal growth was not a conversation in your household. Yes, I went to church, but as far as like working on myself, that was not a conversation. It just culturally is not something that was talked about. And not that I blame anyone in my family for not having those conversations, but it's just not culturally, that just doesn't happen. And so I didn't start doing my personal growth work until about, I would say 9 years ago. And it started with me reading the 4 Agreements and Eat, Pray, Love, and then going to therapy. And then again, things began to unfold from there. So I'm pretty sure if you grew up like me, then personal development wasn't a conversation that you had at home either. So this information is new to you, or it's something that you still have to wrap your mind around, which is perfectly okay. No judgment. Listen, we get what we need when we get it at the time that we are ready for it. All right. So now I'm going to share 8 key areas of your life that you're going to work on throughout your personal growth journey. Number 1, body/health or fitness. Number 2, mind and emotions. Number 3, relationships, and that's specific to intimate relationships. Number 4 would be family. Number 5 would be social, friends, and fun. Number 6 would be business and career. Number 7 would be money and finance. And number 8 will be spiritual. And I found these areas of life to work on from the website Project Mastery. So what I want you to do is I want you to write down each one of those areas of your life, right? And then I want you to rank them from 1 to 10, with 10 being the best, 1 being not so good. And you'll go through each one and rank them. And as you rank them, then you'll say, which one do I want to work on first? So you can say the one that has the lowest number is the one that you want to spend time doing some work around. Or maybe you have something in the midpoint. You're like, oh, I'm a 7 on spirituality. Let me amp that up a little bit. Okay. Now, I will say working on yourself, doing the personal growth work, it takes consistency and self-discipline. Right. And I don't want you to get overwhelmed, because what will happen is you'll rate yourself in each one of these categories. And then let's just say you have 5 categories where you rank a 1 or 2. And then you get overwhelmed and you're like, okay, I want to work on all of these things at once. No. You are going to work on one area of your life at a time. And maybe the goal can just be to improve that category by 1 point. Okay. So let's just say body, health, and fitness, you are a 4. And you want to get that to a 5. So that may mean you drink more water throughout the day, or you start going for a walk throughout the day, or you eliminate pop from your diet, right? So thinking about how can I improve this physical body, health, and fitness area of my life, right? That's the way that I want you to think about it. When you think about spirituality, okay, if you rate yourself a 7 and you want to move that up to an 8, maybe that's you meditating. Maybe that's you connecting more with God, depending on your religious practice, showing up in that way. Maybe that's more prayer, things of that nature. So just look at each area of your life, define what that means for you. And once you define that, it's like, okay, how can I take this up a point? Again, I do not want you to try to work on every area of your life at one time, because that will be overwhelming and you will end up giving up. You will end up quitting. And I do not want you to do that. So I'll give you an example. One of the things I just learned about myself recently is that I need to do a better job at trusting myself. Now, I thought that I trusted myself, but apparently not so much. And so as I'm learning more about trusting myself and how I show up and truly knowing that I know what's best for me, That takes a lot of work when I'm used to putting my trust in other people. So I purchased a book, Trust by Ayanna Van Zant, that my great friend recommended to me. And the way that I'm doing my work around that particular area of my life, and that would be more so like, I would say, emotions and mindset, or mental, if you will, is I'm reading this book so that way I can learn how to trust myself more. And I'll link to the book in the show notes in case you want to take a look at it. So be open-minded, become a life learner. Know that there's no right way to go about this journey, and there's no order of importance, because everyone's personal growth journey will look completely different. I will say, I want you to acknowledge where you're at, accept where you're at, give yourself grace, be kind to yourself, do not judge yourself, and know that you are doing the best that you can based on where you're at. And now that you have this new information, you can apply it to your life. You did not know what you didn't know before you listened to this episode, and that's perfectly okay. But I don't want you to beat yourself up over, I should be further along in life, or I should know this, or I should know that. No, you didn't have the information then, or maybe you heard it, and based on what season of your life you were in, you weren't able to hear it. Now you're able to hear it, and now you can apply it. So forgive yourself for whatever you didn't know, and do not be hard on yourself. And so one of the things that I had to, I guess, be more kind to myself around is that I always felt like I had to figure everything out on my own. And that was overwhelming to me. And even now, sometimes that'll pop up. And now I know that that statement is not true, because I did, growing up, had to figure out a lot of stuff for myself. And I started my personal growth journey on my own, figuring it out solo. But now I'm surrounded by amazing friends, and I have great relationships with many people that I can literally get the support that I need in the blink of an eye. And I just want you to know, too, that it's okay to grow slowly. Again, there's no rush to this. The one thing that I highly, highly, highly recommend is that you do your personal growth work inside a community. Whether that's a community of your closest friends who are all doing the work together, or you join a community like the Be Free Inner Circle, because it's hard enough doing the work in itself, but it's even harder when you're doing the work on your own or solo. And this journey is not meant to be done alone. You need to be surrounded by people who are doing it as well. And the reason being is because they will motivate you. Your community will inspire you. Your community will encourage you. When you feel like giving up, your community will wrap their arms around you and support you and keep pushing you to go forward. So again, do not try to do everything on your own. Get support and get accountability. The doors are open to the Be Free Inner Circle, where I highly recommend that you join and become a member, because every single woman inside the community is doing her personal growth work. And it is a beautiful space where you can grow and flourish and find fulfillment. So ultimately you can be free. And just going back to the key areas of your life, I want you to write down one goal for each category. So write down a goal for spirituality, write down a goal for mental and emotional, write down a goal for, your body and your physical, write down a goal for social and friendships. Like, write down one goal for every single area of your life. And that's how you're going to work to improve it by 1 point. Okay. And then once you improve it by 1 point, you go to another category. Maybe you stay on that same category and you move it 2 notches, whatever works best for you. But again, this is a lifelong journey, and you're always going to be working on some area of your life. So one thing I want to point out is that you're going to want to find resources on your personal growth journey. Okay. And so that means that you want to find a book on an area that you're working on, right? So if you're working to improve your physical health, then make sure you find a book around that, right? If you're looking to improve your mental and emotional health, find a book around that particular area of your life, right? You also want to listen to podcasts, videos, motivational videos, that is, blogs, articles, magazines, etc., to support whatever area of your life that you are working to improve. You want to join the Be Free Inner Circle. Listen, it is a community to grow and to flourish. And I highly recommend it because I'm watching lives change every single day, whether women are finally getting the job that they desired, or they're learning to set healthy boundaries, they're making real and genuine friendships, they're facing their fears, they're taking up space. Those are the kind of women that you want to be around on a day-to-day basis. And I encourage you to go to BeFreeInnerCircle.com. You want to go to therapy, right? So let's just say the inner work that you need to do is around mental and emotional health, and you need to heal from some stuff. Find a therapist. And a great website to check out is Therapy for Black Girls. And you can just put your zip code in and find a therapist in your area. You also want to attend an event, right? So then that way you can be around like-minded women in real life who, again, are doing the personal growth work. And I have an event coming up, which is the Be Free Meetup Sip and Grow, where women will gather to make meaningful connections and have inspiring conversations. But then also our topic will be around friendship. And so that event is coming up on September 18th. Tickets are selling very, very fast. So get yours before it sells out. And you can go to befreemeetup.eventbrite.com. And the reason why this is important, I'll give you a little history about my company. When I started Be Free Project, I started doing one-on-one coaching. And I was doing that for a few months. And I was like, where are women hanging out who are talking about personal growth, who are talking about dreams and goals and setting boundaries and healthy relationships? Like, where are those conversations being had? And I could not find those conversations anywhere. So I started hosting my own in-person events. And I'm so glad that I did it, because the very first one that I had, 13 women showed up. About half were my friends, but that's okay. And it let me know that women wanted spaces to grow in. And since that event, to date, I've had well over 70 events, whether in person, virtual, spoke at events, you name it. So that's why I said to attend an in-person event, because this way you can connect with like-minded women to grow with. And women are flying in from all over. So I highly recommend that you get your ticket so you can come grow with us. So those are just a few ways that you can start to do your personal growth work. I love all things personal growth. So I hope this episode was helpful for you. Your journal prompt this week is, what area of personal growth will you work on first and why? And your affirmation is, I am worth doing the work. Okay, now I want to shout out the coffee giver of the week, which is Nicole Gibson, who is also a member of the Be Free Inner Circle. And she bought me 3 coffees, and she says, happy 3rd and many more to come. I feel like I've been following you since the very beginning or close to it. Congratulations. Nicole, thank you very much. I appreciate you treating me to coffee. And for you, if you want to support me in any kind of way, and you're like, you know what, Siobhan, you're so inspiring, you're so supportive, you're helping me on my personal growth journey, I want to treat you to coffee or 2 or 3, you can do that as well by clicking the link in the show notes. Don't forget, if you want to share your thoughts on this episode or ask a question around personal growth and or friendship, you can call 216-438-0830 and leave a message. And then I will share your voicemail live on the podcast, and I will respond in real time. Don't forget, I would love for you to rate this episode 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. That would be amazing. And then share this episode with a friend and say, hey, girl, I'm on my personal growth journey. I want to share this episode with you, so then we can talk about it afterwards, and you can even answer the journal prompt together. Share this episode in your IG stories. Be sure to tag me at Be Free Project or Siobhan Sudbury so I can see it. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, girl, be free.
Hi, my name is Patrice. I am a member of the Be Free Inner Circle. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. And I joined the Inner Circle because I wanted to follow my dreams. I wanted to be around like-minded women, and it has helped me so much. I recently quit my job, and it's because of all of the support and the love that I get from the women and Siobhan in the Inner Circle. So yeah. It's amazing.